Welcome to the new episode of Neville's Corner. Today we have another global expert, Mr. Kai Grunwitz. Mr. Grunwitz, I hope I've pronounced your name correctly.
That was perfect. Thanks a lot, Ali.
Great. So let me give a quick introduction. We have Mr. Grunwitz, who is an innovative and established executive conceptualizing, developing, and driving business strategies for dynamic enterprises with 25 years of experience in the industry and various leadership roles. In his 25 years in the industry, he has focused strongly on people-intensive areas of consulting and services by managing large business and teams for leading IT companies such as he's been a co-owner and manager of business development and sales at netIX Systems Consulting of a German IT consulting company, director of professional services Central Europe at Sun Microsystems, Vice President Consulting Northern Europe Oracle and member of the country leadership of Oracle Germany, Senior Vice President EMEA at NTT Security, responsible for both the business and the development of go-to-market strategies in the consulting and managed security areas, as well as for the global consulting governance. In addition, Mr. Kai Grunwitz has been a speaker and influencer focusing on digital transformation and cybersecurity strategies on various German and international events. To balance out the hectic business life, he loves to play some round of golf to relax, refocus, and recharge. Now with that, I'll just hand over to Mr. Neville Gaunt, who has joined us from all the way UK, and it's Neville's Corner. So Neville, over to you.
Thanks very much, Ali, and hello everyone. Welcome to Neville's Corner, as Ali just said. And remember, the purpose of this short session is to give you the facts, to take out any noise and any fake news that you may be hearing about your future life in the business world. So it's really directed mostly at young people, but also their parents and teachers. And the purpose of bringing in these international experts is that they're going to give you a flavor of what it's like across the globe. And I'm absolutely delighted that we've got Kai with us today. And Kai and I have never actually met. We've never physically met. We're Twitter buddies, and we tweet in a great little group about blockchain, which you may never have heard of, crypto, and really everything in the cybersecurity and AI arena. We're not going to talk about that today, but that's just where Kai comes from. This is his level of expertise. He's a well-recognized international speaker and incredibly well recognized, certainly on the European front, and doing some fantastic work. And one thing he and I do have in common is people. So welcome to the show, Kai. Our relationship will unfold, so we're not going to talk too much about that. But I'd like to get straight into the first question. The world is struggling with a business phenomena. I mean, in the UK and Europe, we've got this Brexit phenomena going on. We've got Trump and China with their trade wars. We've heard a little bit about what might be happening in North Korea. So this is a real international flavor. But what do you think are the biggest challenges for business in perhaps in a local basis, but also in a global framework?
Good. Thanks a lot for the kind introduction, first of all, Neville. I'm really pleased to be here today with you and with Ali on this webcast. So a couple of things you flagged already. I will not dig into Brexit and the other items, which are in fact already a challenge by itself for the business. But today we want to focus on people and what it will mean for young people to join the business and nowadays. So one item we definitely see at the moment as a key business challenge is, and I don't want to call it no kind of buzzwords, but the digital disruption the companies face today will also mean a lot for the people we onboard in that context. You know, some smart people at the IMD in Lausanne, they wrote that it's not a digital transformation, but it's a battle for digital survival, in fact, because companies who will not adapt will die and disappear. And we saw that recently in a lot of industries already. So there was an Iron Maiden song, and I'm a big Iron Maiden fan, and they said, be quick or be dead. So that means the companies are in a massive change mode at the moment. In the automotive industry, in manufacturing, in all areas, you see the way how they do business is changing, and that needs adaptation in the companies. That means adaptation from the way how they do their business and the way how they interact with other players in the market, but also how they structure the leadership in a company, the organization in a company, because we all have grown up with the traditional organizational structures, with role models like HP and others. They have been the role model in a culture. I think you and I remember that time when everyone at university learned about at HP is the wow. Everyone wanted to work at HP. Today, everyone wants to work for Google, Amazon, or Tesla because they have a complete different type of innovative approach also, not only for the business, but also how they manage their people in the more agile way. So that means the companies today, they also have the structure, have a challenge to adapt their leadership and organizational style to the new digital business model as well, because the people they have on board today are sometimes smarter than the managers. They're more agile, they have better technical skills, and that is a big challenge for the companies by itself. So I think the leaders have to change and the organization have to change. If you lead in an old-fashioned way, in a modern organization, you will fail as a company. And the technical disruption connected to that, you mentioned a couple of things: AI, blockchain, cyber, blah blah blah. All these things, they happen, and we need to have the right skill set for that. And now we have another big challenge for the companies, because sometimes the education systems are not keeping up with the pace of the technology transformation. On the other hand, that's something I see day to day. These education systems are still built for the old type of business in a lot of areas, and finding right people with the right skills is very challenging for the companies nowadays. And I think skills today, they are faster outdated than ever before, and that's definitely a challenge on that side. And the European fragmentation you have from a European perspective, that's a big challenge for us. Because if you look at the AI space, Europe as a group can keep up with the US, but not with individual countries. So we also, that's a European challenge, maybe not so critical seen in Asia or Pakistan and other areas, but in Europe, that's a big challenge. And for me, the leadership change and the way how the companies have to structure and adapt is one of the major changes at the moment. And we need the skilled people, but on the other hand, we need also to adopt a leadership on that side. And when I speak before we big, please go ahead, Neville.
No, please do.
So if I spoke about be quick or be dead, I also want to end one myth, because everyone said we are so fast and we're changing faster than ever before. I recently had I saw a picture and presented that at an event, AWS event, a picture of the Fifth Avenue 1900 and the picture of the Fifth Avenue 1913. On one picture, you saw one car and a lot of horses. On the next picture, 1913, you saw no horses, only cars. The horse innovation has failed, and we have no jobs for horses anymore because we have transformed so fast. So that means we had a digital transformation we see currently, which will change a lot of things. In 5 years from now, we have a different world. But this happened also in the past. And think about my grandmother; she died at the age of 101. She saw all this stuff. And considering from horses to cars to planes, that was for them, it was as fast as we see the changes nowadays. And in 5 to 10 years, we will have the electric cars all around. We will have shared mobility. We will have new ways of transportation, for example. We cannot even imagine yet. Maybe we have some slight ideas and visions, but reality will be faster. So that's a little bit for me the kind of challenges I see. Right, skilled people, transformation, new leadership styles, all that is a challenge for the companies today.
Massive challenges. You know, you've given a whirlwind tour, even back to the 1900s, and you know, you're halfway to your grandmother's age. I'm a little to your grandmother's age, and you and I. And Ali, but he's a little younger than you and I. We've seen a huge amount of technical change. The iPhone, the the BlackBerry that really was the business communication of, we're talking less than 10 years ago. So not just technology has changed, but people have had to keep up with it. And you mentioned this wonderful term that I hear of a lot and I speak about a lot, this wonderful term called leadership. Mm-hmm. And leadership has to change. And one of the things you said was the people coming into organizations are probably more technically competent than the ones that are already there. But when it comes to leadership, you know, when we're looking at growing an organization, when we're looking at bringing people in, it doesn't matter what age we're bringing them in. What are these skills, soft skills you talk about? What are we really looking for in new hires?
Good. So I have two components that I want to. First, I want to speak about the people we bring in, and secondly, I want to really also go back to the discussion about leadership, because I have my own principle on that, and that is maybe sometimes strange for people, but I want to share with you today as well. So first of all, there's an old phrase as well. Sorry for if I have to pay a buck for using phrases. Hire for attitude, not hiring for skill. That's the key for me. When I bring in new people to the organization, it doesn't matter what kind of skills and technical skills people have. The first thing is for me that the people have to have the right attitude. And attitude means ready for learning, ready for listening, and ready to also contribute in an active way. So that's you know, a lot of people send CVs and want to go in an application process to go through their CV. I said, I can read. I have read all the stuff. Tell me what is not in the paper, because that's what I'm interested in. So for me, it's important that the people have the right passion for the job, that they are comfortable. They have also prepared themselves. You know, when young people come on board, quite often you see, I have the feeling they have not even any idea what we are doing as a company and how they could contribute to the company. They surprise me with completely ignorance about what we do. And then I said, okay, why are you applying for a job if you don't know what we are doing? It's shocking reality. Sorry, it's not.
No, these are the facts. These are the facts we've got to give people. It's really important.
And so an important thing. If I onboard people, I want people who know what we do, and know how they want to contribute. That's the first very important thing. They have to understand that. And secondly, people who are ready to learn. Because learning nowadays, we speak about lifelong learning and other things, and that's reality. You learn, I learn, and if young people come in from university, sometimes they have the wrong impression that they are ready already. And just to be brutally true, it's not the case. Now the real life starts, because university or school is just the entry card for the next level. And here, you know, I was a mentor at the university. I was at the university at Mannheim. I was a mentor for students to bring them forward and to help them a little bit to be prepared. And I had one of the guys I remember, and he was in finance, and he told me in the first session he wants to be the manager right now when he starts to define a company strategy. I said, what is qualifying you to think that you're ready for that step already? You have no experience. You have been at university. You have been in a company for 1, 2, 3 months to learn a little bit how it works, but you have no background in that. And that's also something people need to understand, that they have to develop in the company, and they are ready for learning, coaching, stretching their limits sometimes because they don't know how the reality looks like, and leave their comfort zone. Honestly, at the age of 20 or 22, 23, 24, I had no bloody idea what I want to do at the end. Sometimes you have to grow as you go and learn while you're in a company. And that's important. So attitude is for me everything. And the soft skills, communication, teamwork, but also clarity in communication. What you think is the right thing and what is wrong. Be explicit on that. It's nothing is better than having a constructive communication. It's not about blaming or criticizing. It's about contributing. be a part of the team, and that's sometimes without any arrogance. It's a team effort. It's not no one, not a single manager will save a company. It's not. It's always a team, and I look for these type of people, who understand they are part of the team. They want to contribute. They have strong communication skills and also some empathy to understand what the others, what the other team members, peers, managers, but also subordinated people, how they feel. It's very important that you have this empathy if you want to join a company. So it sounds very simple, because the facts on the CV everyone can read, not complicated.
Yeah.
You differentiate yourself by with the right attitude, and be prepared how you can contribute to a company, and that's an important component on that. It's a long answer for a short question. Sorry for that, but that's my general.
The facts of life is that these questions are very short and very simple, but the answers are, as you say, much longer, and they're even longer, because the next thing that we're going to go into is, you've touched on it, these young people coming out of university. We're not talking about illiterate young people. We're talking about highly qualified, technically qualified individuals, but you use terms like teamwork. Mm-hmm. And what I find interesting of the whole education system is that the first time young people, post-ex graduates, really get into teamwork properly is when they go and play, not at work necessarily, but they go and play a sport. Mm-hmm. And you're an avid golfer, and a lot of people will say, well, golf isn't a team sport. But golf is a team sport. The beautiful thing about golf is that the members of your team are all inanimate. And there's clubs. And there's a golf course that, again, is inanimate. It might have wind on it, but the only variable factor here is you.
Yeah.
And back to that attitude. Who turns up to hit the ball? Have you got the confidence and the commitment to hit the ball? And so we have a little bit of fun with this arena, but young people don't appreciate the fact that when they get into the workplace, it's more about teamwork and less about individuals.
It is.
The whole education system is based upon first past the post. Mm-hmm. It's your result. It's your examination. And although there is teamwork along the way in your seminars and the lecture halls and the social arena, this word teamwork is vastly underrated and underprepared in that environment. So comes on to my question about, you've already said these people are not prepared. What does the education system need to do differently to help these young people prepare?
So first of all, I'm a positive person, because I quite often I see the generation like mine to say, oh, it was better in the past, we have been better prepared. I disagree on that. We have been as unexperienced as the young people today. Just to be very blunt on that, because the elder generation always thinks they have been better. I disagree on that. So I think the young people, they have a good set of skills, and the schools are preparing them on, as we said before, on the technical thing, on the knowledge very well. What I see definitely is that the school systems, the education systems, have not adapted to the new requirement as necessary. I will give you an example. In Germany, we discuss a new digital, how we call that, digital agenda for schools to change and change the school system, education system a little bit to be more prepared for the new business challenges of the in the outer world for the kids. In reality, it means we buy more iPads. So that's not the way how I would consider a proper preparation works. We need first of all, it has to start with the people who teach, that they get prepared for the new challenges as well, because they also need they need to upskill. Upskill maybe not the right word. To learn additional things. Upskill sounds negative for me. It's more enhance a couple of areas they have maybe not seen. To adapt to new training methods, to adapt to agile methods, to involve the people in a more team-oriented way, which is still not the case. I have 3 kids and 2 are still in school. So I feel it each day because they still follow the same patterns I have been in school. So that's irritating, and that is a long time ago. So therefore, it's so I think first of all we have to start with the teachers and the people who prepare the kids to provide them with the right knowledge and technical skills to cope with the kids, because technically wise, the kids run away. The teachers are not prepared for that type of discussion, and then they lose the also acceptance level. They will never reach the acceptance level necessary to really teach the people in that way. So that's one thing. And also we see that some countries, and we always hear about the Baltic states and Finland, etc., doing much better than others in preparing kids for the digital age in schools, because they have already modernized the way how they teach people. They have already incorporated new technologies in schools. They have incorporated new lessons. That's still important, and that's also an important piece of that, to have the overall technical setup prepared for the schools. And that's what we do with Digital Agenda in Germany. So, and last but not least, for me, it's also important that the school system is sometimes too much focusing on ambition. You have to pass a test to win. As you said before, it's me. I have to do it, and I need the best rates to be selected for the university, instead to work as a team to achieve something. So that's the reason we see a trend in a lot of countries now that parents move their kids into private schools, because they have a more modern way to teach them. But this will create 2 classes of education, and that's not what we want. So for me, I want to have the politics to prepare the ground, that we prepare the general schools in that way as we do the private schools, that we have the right teachers, the right technical setup, and then teach the people that it's about passion, about teamwork, about winning together. As you said before, even in golf, you have the Ryder Cup, you win together, and then you see how teamwork works in golf.
And we're doing very well in that over in Europe as well.
Yeah, Europe, and that's the social competencies in schools are sometimes underrepresented, because we always focus on the other things, and it's not a race in school. The kids should be prepared. They should be learned to work, to respect each other, to work together, to help each other, which is also an important point. And maybe it's old-fashioned, but that's also important, because competition will start later on anyway, and we are in competition each single day. That's not bad. That's not bad if it's done in a proper way. And I love pro competition. I cannot play golf without want to win. You know, it's
Me too.
it's sometimes it's bad if you and so I have no problem to teach the kids also that there is a competition out there. They have to prepare, but do it in a respectful way. And this is at least in most of the schools I know not the case yet. So it's still the old-fashioned classroom directive school system, which is not the school system of a digital age at the moment. So that's something I see as a critical component in that area.
No, I think you're right. It's not the school system for a digital age. You've got to question: when was it broken? Because clearly there's a contract that's been broken somewhere, and I can go back a little longer than you, but I came out of university in 1980. And my teachers prior to going to university were saying, get a good degree, get a good job.
Yeah.
I have a feeling the contract was broken then. I actually feel that it had broken or was starting to be broken, because by the mid-80s, it had completely broken. And yet the education system had stayed in its first past the post, more about technical skills and passing exams. And that's the mid-80s. Well, we're 30 years on. And the education system, with the few exceptions, you know, Finland, maybe Sweden, the education system globally hasn't changed. And just to give you a little bit of information, a couple of years ago, I mean, there are these statistics about the international standing of education systems in the world.
Oh, yes.
South Korea, for many years, have been right up the top. Interestingly enough, they follow the English and have followed the English system for years. And last year, the head of education in South Korea said, we need to do something different. We're burning our kids out at too young an age. So the price of exam success was actually, if you look at South Korea, it's suicide.
Oh, yes.
Suicides. And as we know, that's crept into, certainly in the UK, and I know it's creeping into the Europe arena, of which the digital age has got some, you know, responsibility to, you know, stop this circulation of bad news and depressive news. And as you say, you're a very positive individual. So let's get back onto this positive stage. So I'm gonna turn the clock back in Kai's world. I'm gonna turn the clock back 30 years. You can remember that time when you were just turning 20. What advice, if you were sat next to yourself today, what advice would you give to yourself having had that 30 years experience?
Well, that's an interesting one, because in reality, you know, I would say relax. That's the first thing. Yeah. Don't overpace. Yeah, because that's a very, things will happen. Follow your interest. Don't get nervous if you get the feeling that others are working straight towards a career when you had no idea that, because sometimes you have these thoughts when you think, okay, they all know what they do, what they want to do, they have a clear vision. Reality is a lot of people have burned their visions already decades ago, while I still enjoy my life and enjoy my professional work because I just followed the past that I saw in front of me, you know. So I think, but at the age of 20, you always struggle. You said, okay, I need to know what I want to do. Everyone knows. Yep. So that's the first thing. I would also recommend, because I'm working in cybersecurity now, you know, I have to say that once, learn more about IT at that time. I'm working in cybersecurity, but more on a conceptual level. I'm not a technical guy. I'm, as you saw in my bio, I have no technical background on that side, because I'm more a consultant with a lot of general knowledge, but not in the details. So I would love to stay on the technology side a little bit longer. And last but not least, don't forget your hobbies. Don't forget them, because quite often we have the tendency, as you said, we have pressure from university. I was playing music at that time. I've stopped that because I had no time for it. So don't do that. Stay with your hobbies and enjoy life on that side. And last but not least, there really is the last one. Make your experience, learn, and listen, and be relaxed. That's it.
That's an incredibly good way to finish off, frankly. So learn by your experiences, relax. And the one that I love is listen. Because a lot of people don't listen. And yet communication is all about listening to what someone's got to say. And interestingly enough, we're not taught to listen. We either learn how to listen or we don't. And you and I see that a lot on Twitter. Some people are listening. But
that's the truth.
It's a big arena. Well, Kai, thank you so much. There was no planning for this, as everyone knows. This is impromptu. We throw a few questions out there. You've been completely and utterly open and honest with your responses and your experiences. I hope a lot of young people and parents and teachers are listening into this, because facts. We don't really want to be here in 40 years' time with the same education system and not helping young people succeed. So just my thanks on behalf of everyone that's listening in. Good luck in your career. I know we're going to be talking quite a bit, I guess, in the future, certainly as Twitter buddies.
I hope so.
Thank you so much, Kai. I really appreciate the conversation and your insight into your world. So thank you.
Thanks a lot for having me here, and
Thank you, Kai.
have a great day.
As you mentioned about listening, so I've been a silent spectator, mostly focusing on listening to you guys. So I mean, that's,
Okay.
Thank you very much, and really appreciate your time. Of very, very valuable information, and very, very engaging, intriguing interview indeed.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. With that note, I would like to end and conclude. So thank you very much once again, and we're going to end this one. Take care. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.